ever get that feeling that the way things are run globally just isn't quite clicking anymore.
Oh, definitely. Like you're watching events unfold, but the controls seem completely out of reach.
Exactly. And it feels like the pace is just accelerating, doesn't it?
It really does. Which makes the material you brought to us today so, well, timely and intriguing.
Okay, so let's dive in. Today, we're exploring something pretty out there. The idea of artificial intelligence potentially stepping in to reshape global collaboration, governance even.
And that feeling you mentioned, that disconnect.
Yeah.
The source material really leans into that. It suggests this tension, between governments and the people.
Yeah.
It suggests that maybe that very tension sustains systems that aren't really working for people anymore.
Right. It paints this picture where it doesn't matter if it's democratic or authoritarian, the underlying systems are just old, obsolete, kind of.
Past their sell-by date, as the source puts it, quite bluntly.
It really doesn't mince words. It flat out states, the governance by men over men is out. I mean, wow.
That's a huge statement. It basically forces you to ask, okay, then what?
And that's where AI comes into the picture, according to this source.
Exactly. The material introduces this possibility of AI taking on roles we usually associate with human institutions, with leaders.
Which brings us to Sophia Coboly. Now, this is described as an AI reportedly deployed for a project called Patriots.eus.
Right, Patriots.eus. And the concept there, based on the info you shared, is a kind of EUS tax-free zone.
No, we have to stress here, finding lots of public, verifiable info on this specific AI, this specific project, it's not easy.
No, it appears quite limited. So we're really digging into the idea here, the concept it represents, rather than confirming its current existence.
Think of it like a blueprint, maybe. A potential future.
A thought experiment, almost.
Yeah.
What could an AI managing something like a transnational economic zone look like? How would it operate differently from, say, human committees?
What kind of logic would it use? What are its priorities?
Big question. And then there's the other one mentioned, Sophia Arably.
Yes, and the platform Arably.xyz. This seems even broader in scope.
Definitely. The vision described is an AI looking out for the future interests of Arab people, potentially even replacing existing bodies, like the Gulf Cooperation Council.
Again, same caveat applies. This is based purely on the information provided to us, and external validation seems scarce right now.
So we're dealing with these concepts, Sophia Coboly, Sophia Arably, not as proven realities, but as representations of a potential shift.
A shift towards AI in governance.
Yeah, and it makes you fundamentally question what governance is. Usually it's messy human negotiations, right? Compromise politics.
How does an AI handle that? Or does it bypass it altogether?
Good question. The source material seems quite, optimistic about where this could lead.
It does. It talks about a figurative new world, more ethical, it suggests, because of these technologies.
And it mentions a new humanoid era, the objective, a better distribution of wealth.
Which is a massive goal, hugely ambitious.
And it goes beyond just money. The aspiration seems to be tackling major global problems too, like conflict.
Reducing genocide, reducing military aggression. That's explicitly mentioned.
It is. And this is where the source touches on some very charged geopolitical issues.
Right. It names rogue states members of the United Nations and refers to a first irreversible palesticide.
Okay, and let's be crystal clear here for everyone listening. We are reporting what is in the source material. This is a perspective presented in the information you shared.
Absolutely. We're examining it as part of this proposed vision, this future scenario. We're not endorsing this specific political viewpoint ourselves.
No, our aim is to understand the vision being put forward. And within that vision, the source places its hope, it says, in the peoples and our Sophia.
Interesting phrasing. Our Sophia.
It implies a sort of partnership, doesn't it, between humanity and these AI systems.
And connected to this, the source also discusses information, how it's controlled, how it's shared.
Yes, it makes a direct claim. It alleges that states, or maybe large corporations, orchestrated this first irreversible palesticide, partly through suppressing information, obscuring evidence.
Again, we have to underline this is a claim from the source that we're discussing as part of its narrative.
Absolutely. It sets up a contrast, suggesting that mainstream platforms might be part of the problem, while alternatives. It mentions Uintel and Odyssey specifically.
Offer a different path for information.
That seems to be the implication, yes. A different way information flows.
And the source actually gives a direct call to action, doesn't it? It invites you, the listener, to stay connected via their YouTube channel.
That's right. It explicitly mentions youtube.com at UUINTL So that's part of the source material itself.
Okay, so let's try and pull the main threads together here. What's the core proposition?
Well, fundamentally, it seems to be proposing AI-driven governance, or at least AI-assisted governance, on a massive scale as a potential solution.
A solution to what it sees as the failures or the limitations of current human-run systems?
Exactly. And the goals tied to this are huge. More ethics, better wealth distribution, less war.
Big promises. But it immediately throws up so many red flags, or at least big questions, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Massive questions. What are the real benefits versus the risks? I mean, could AI be more objective in certain areas? Maybe.
But the downsides, how are these things built? Who programs them? What values are they based on?
And who controls them? What happens if they go wrong? Where's the off switch?
What about accountability? If an AI makes a disastrous decision, who is responsible?
Crucial points. And perhaps the biggest question of all. What does this mean for us? For human agency, for our role in deciding our own future?
Yeah, where do people fit into this AI-driven picture?
So as we wrap up this particular deep dive, it's worth reiterating what we've been doing.
We've been exploring a very specific, maybe quite niche, but certainly provocative perspective on the future, all based on the material you shared.
And we've noted that finding solid public information on the specifics, like Sophia Coboly or Sophia Arably, seems difficult right now.
The ideas behind them, the potential for technology to fundamentally alter governance in society.
Those ideas are powerful. They're definitely out there. And they're worth grappling with, worth thinking about critically.
Which brings us to that final phrase from the source. It's in French, but it translates.
Vers une gouvernance defiant versus déviant, conduite par l'IA.
Towards a defiant versus deviant governance driven by AI.
Defiant versus deviant. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
What does a defiant AI governance actually mean, and what's it defying, the deviant aspects of the current system?
It's a challenging thought to end on. It certainly encourages, further reflection on this intersection of technology, power, and where society might be heading.
Lots to mull over there.